Brother, thank you for doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talking to a stranger about CrossFit, about all things functional movement, fitness, mental health, and a little bit of shit chat in there as well, mate. So I
Right.
appreciate it a lot.
Absolutely.
Mate, how do you get into this thing?
Well, I think like most CrossFit athletes, you get kind of bored with the traditional lifting that I was doing. So I was just doing, bench press, tricep extensions, bicep curls, blah blah blah. And then actually saw it on TV on ESPN in 2000, must have been 2012 or something like that, maybe. And you can see my workout log that I used to keep just kind of progress from traditional lifting to maybe at the end of my lifting session it'll be like a 10-minute AMRAP into 2 or 3 AMRAPs in that session, and then just all CrossFit. So it's just something new, something exciting, and drink the Kool-Aid.
That's it, man. You get that bug, right? You get bitten by the bug, I should say, and it's like there's
Sure,
no
sure.
going back, man.
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong, traditional workouts in the weight room, the 5x5s, the bodybuilding style training is fantastic. And I think a lot of CrossFitters, especially that athlete side, they need to implement that in the training, right? But to
Yep.
do that 5, 6 days a week, some double days for those
Mm.
for those crazy folk out there,
Yep.
um, yeah, it gets a little tedious, and sometimes you just want to get smashed in the face with a kettlebell
Right.
or a barbell, right?
Right. Yeah, it's just a little bit more exciting.
100%.
Yeah.
Did you do any sport growing up?
Yep. Baseball, basketball, football,
Wow.
pretty much since I from 6 till after high school.
Did you think was it an easy transition from those into CrossFit, or was it an easier transition from those into the traditional
Um,
training?
yeah, I would say my athletic background helped me a lot more in CrossFit than it did in the lifting
Mhm.
traditional stuff.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's something
Yeah.
that I end up finding as well, is when people come into the gym and they've had their history of being an athlete, for example, right? Whether
Yeah.
it's American football, like European football, like rugby, lacrosse, baseball, whatever it is, right? Even swimming, gymnastics, they get that little bug of like, oh, it's a bit of competition, but also like there's things that I'm bad at.
Yep.
If you're bad at traditional weight room training, i.e., the bodybuilding style stuff. If you're bad at that, that usually means you're going to end up getting injured, right? Because
Right, right.
how can you be bad at it? Well, usually you just move it poorly, and then that's the recipe for disaster.
Sure.
So you see a movement, you might not have a muscle up, you might not be able to walk on your hands. Most people can't when they first walk into a CrossFit gym, right? Might
Right,
not be able to
right.
snatch because overhead mobility, like me, was basically an incline bench press. And I'm
Sure.
like, well, okay, let's figure this out so then we can do those movements. And then you got like objective data, clear objective data, not because of the numbers or the sets and reps and the tempo and stuff, but because you can actually do more shit.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. For sure.
It's cool, man.
For sure.
You
Did you
only in
would
the
you
foot.
what
Sorry,
was
man.
your what's your sports background?
Oh, I swam as a kid, like
Okay.
as a right young kid, and then I played rugby union. That was
Nice.
my main thing. I like to I like to hit people, and
Yeah, yeah.
also I was a little bit of a heavier bloke. So if I jumped in the water jumped out. Um, so me and swimming didn't really go hand in hand.
Sure.
You could I could get away with it when we're a little bit younger, and I can power through the water. Especially on like breaststroke, I can just kind of use a little bit more of the mass on the upper body,
Yep.
and power through the water. But then when everybody started getting a little bit longer, the
Yeah.
wingspan started getting a little bit further. They're just zipping through this water, mate, and I'm like, no, no, this is not the sport for me anymore.
Yeah, right.
Plus, chasing an egg around the pitch, getting covered in mud, and smacking some other fellas was quite appealing to me.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, what's better than that? You get to roll
Right.
around in the
Exactly.
mud, you know, and
Yep.
freeze your nuts off, and then
Yeah.
eight
Yeah.
dudes just smash into each other, and we call it sport, I guess.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, man.
Good shit.
Do you own an affiliate too, right?
I do.
Which give it a shout out.
CrossFit Soulfire.
Oh man. Did you purchase that or did you found it?
Yeah, we found it.
Wow.
Yeah, my wife and
So
I.
talk to me about the journey of that, man. I'm fascinated at how people kind of pull the plug and be like, you know what, fuck it, let's do it. Let's pull the pin out of this grenade and let's bite the bullet and let's
Yeah.
start a gym. It's a
Yeah,
rad gym,
it
right?
was actually very easy for us. We both worked at a traditional Globo gym that my wife's dad owned. We worked there for 15 years or so, and I was the head personal trainer over there, and she was the personal training manager, which was really nice because she could just feed me people, you know.
Yeah.
And then her dad, my father-in-law, decided to that he was done with it and wanted to sell, and we were growing out of the space that we were using for our personal training studio. I was actually doing a lot more like group training, 5 people or so at a time. And I by the time we were leaving, I was at like 42 clients.
Wow.
And we just decided he was selling and we were ready to kind of expand. And I had been doing CrossFit and made it to the games once. And it just made sense to try and open up a CrossFit gym. Found a great space. We were lucky enough to be able to open the doors with 30 or 40 people right away, which is not very common. So we really lucked out with that. But yeah, like you said, pull the plug and just dive into it. And I think next month we hit our 4-year mark.
Wow.
So yeah, pretty awesome, pretty cool environment. The people, the community is just outstanding. So pretty easy move for us.
100%, man. But I wouldn't say it
Yeah,
was luck. You put in 15 years of work, developed
true.
rapport with all those people and they trust you clearly because they
Hmm.
came over with you, and then
Yep.
yeah, you got new members and stuff like that. You built it and they came, which is great.
Hmm.
But yeah, man, that's awesome. Like were you
Yeah.
PTing when you were at the games?
Yes. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's that's a big commitment, man. A lot of people want like
Yeah.
5 a.m. trainings, and it's like, well, I also need 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours of sleep. That's
Right.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was a cool journey. It was, my first year at the games, it was the first year they had the Masters 35 to 39 division.
Mhm.
And, to go and compete with people like Chris Spieler and Kyle Kasperbauer and Neil Maddox, people like that are OGs. It was pretty cool experience.
Proper OGs, those names, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember
So,
watching those videos like years before I even started CrossFit.
right?
It was just like, no, what is this crazy shit they're doing? Like,
Yeah, right.
why is everybody so jacked? And then you got this tiny guy who's pushing this like, how much is that? Like, and he's pushing this sled. It's like, this doesn't make any sense.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It looks like he can out scrummage me, and I probably weigh double his body weight.
Yes. Yeah. And the cool thing about him, Chris Beeler, is he's super cool.
Yeah.
Really, really nice guy. Not arrogant or anything like that. So that was very cool to see.
Yeah, I really love watching his like coaches need coaches, right? And we should
Correct.
always be trying to upskill our craft. It is the pursuit of excellence at the end of the day, and it's an art
Absolutely.
form. It's just sharpening the axe every day.
Yep.
And I love to watch his videos because he's got a special way of how he like holds himself in
Mm-hmm.
those class environments, right? And the way he coaches. And I think it's real cool, man. What's
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
what's the biggest thing coaching has taught you?
Um, Patience.
Yeah.
I'm not a very, wasn't not traditionally a very patient person. So being able to uh, work on that over the years has been good for my coaching and good for my home life as well. Just taught me a lot. CrossFit is more than just like, banging barbells around and stuff like that. You without you knowing it, what you learn inside the walls of a CrossFit gym and the community, without you knowing it, you go and apply that stuff outside of the
Oh yeah.
gym. So just really, really awesome.
Oh yeah. You learn so much about people, right? We kind of
Yeah.
initially get into this business. Yeah, okay, like to help people, granted. Like you have to have some sort of want to help people to work in the
Right.
fitness industry. Otherwise you're blind, your head's in the sand, and you're not going to make it, right? Um, but at the same time, we get into this learning all about facts and figures and how the body moves and studies and all that. And you're like, great, but now we have to apply it.
Right.
Coaching is the application of knowledge and then being able to change it and adapt it to the individual in front of you, or the room and the group of individuals in front of you.
Right.
That's so those social skills that you learn is, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
How many members you got now?
I think we're at 120 or so.
Wow,
Yeah.
it's a good number.
So yeah, it's a good number. I ideally when we first moved over too, we have our space is 6,000 square feet total, but there's 4,000 for the big room and then a separate 2,000, which when we first came over was um personal training studio
Mm,
type deal.
mm,
And we still utilize it as that, but we don't have as many personal training clients as we
right.
had when we moved over. But we do the small group, like boot camps and stuff on the smaller side. And it's separate, totally separate from the CrossFit area, which is a little bit less uh, scary for people, when they first come in. But what they don't know is that the boot camp is still CrossFit, but it's not called CrossFit. So, anyways, we have a little bit, kind of an older crowd doing more of the boot camp stuff. Um, but then they get funneled into the CrossFit eventually. So, pretty cool, easy way to get started without thinking that you're doing what those crazy people on TV are doing.
Yeah, 100%, man. Sometimes you got to meet
Yeah.
people where they're at. It's like
Yep.
we know they're going to benefit from it, and
Right.
we
Right.
know it's all relative. High intensity
Yeah.
is relative, and you're not going to come in. I'm going to give you a 40-kilo barbell and tell you to throw it above your head.
Right.
Like some people aren't even going to touch a barbell for a while, and that's all right. It's like
Correct.
we're just going to move around and have fun and get a high five or a fist bump and learn something new and go
Yep.
home and come back again the next day. But sometimes you gotta trick them, right? And it's like, don't worry
Yeah.
about it,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
It's a boot camp. Like, oh, I could do a boot camp.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
But you're in a CrossFit affiliate. You're in the
Yep.
next room. You're basically doing the same thing. You're just not going on the rings, and you're doing a workout called Fran or Cindy
Right.
or
Right.
Diane, and you're like,
Exactly.
okay, guys.
Yeah. It's funny
It,
how people are like that.
yeah, man. It's just kind of breaking that stereotype, I guess, and that's
Yeah.
part of our job. Unfortunately, I think
Yeah.
it's a fascinating thing to navigate and it's quite interesting, but it's also a pain in the ass sometimes because you're like,
It can be. Yeah.
can you just walk through the door, team, so then I can help you? Because if you
Yeah.
don't, I can't.
Yeah.
I follow you around in the gym, I'm doing my job. I follow you around outside, you start calling 911.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt.
It's a bit of a weird one. So,
Yeah.
dude,
Right.
like community in the gym.
Yeah.
How do you keep that fire stoked?
Uh, it's tough some days. I think with any kind of a community, whether you're in a CrossFit gym or work environment or anything like that, there's going to be cliques, right? People that like to stick together and stuff like that. But I have found that and mostly it's like the 4:30 group that's a clique, and then the 3:30 group much different. But anyways, I think the biggest thing it starts with me as the owner and my wife as the owner, making sure that stuff doesn't happen too much, to where people feel like they can't talk to a certain group. So I try and somehow during the class bring two cliques together and talk to them at the same time. And then besides that kind of stuff, we try and do a lot of like the Friday Night Lights is very, very good for community. And we try and have like potlucks and things like that, after a Friday night workout or whatever. But that seems to help a lot, just getting the 3:30 and 4:30 people to come to one place and eat and drink and talk and stuff like that. So we try and do a lot of that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's all going to help. Sometimes
Yeah.
they just need a little push in the right direction, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's kind of like a forced cooperation, and we just call it community building.
Correct.
And it's like, no, grab a buddy that you don't know, or all those
Right.
little nuanced tricks and tips that you can use. But I think those community days are really cool, man, when everybody just goes for food, and I think a Friday is always great. It's like, team, if you got a smoking hot date to go to, no problem, see you later. But if you don't, let's just walk across the road and grab a pint or like a coffee, or let's go get a bite to eat if you're not doing anything. Everybody's going to come in all sweaty. Nobody's got dressed up in their ones.
Right.
And it's it just kind of brings that atmosphere down, in a sense of a lot of people are in the corporate scene, and they have to be and do a certain thing and be a certain way. And you're like, guys, you can do whatever the fuck you want now. Like, be yourself. We love you regardless.
Right.
And let's just kind of de-stress, because life's stressful enough as it is, right? And I think the CrossFit community can be something to help to pull you out of that.
Yeah. Yes. It's a really, really beautiful thing, when you, especially like somebody that joins and they're very, very shy and standoffish and don't say much for the first 6 months.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they hit a PR, or they get a bar muscle up, or they get a pull up, or whatever it may be. And then, the excitement starts. And then from there, then you see them blossom and like spread their wings. And all of a sudden, Tammy, that's 43, has never gotten a pull up before or worn a shirt that shows her belly button, and then she gets some confidence, and all of a sudden she's wearing CrossFit clothes. I think that is the coolest thing ever, when something like that happens. It's just it's why we do what we do, I guess.
It's exactly why we do what we do, man. Okay, in the grand scheme of things, we're trying to fight chronic disease. We're trying to make people harder to kill. We're trying to rehab from certain injuries. We're trying to do all that stuff, but at the same time, like, we're building confidence, and I actually made a comment. I think it was this week, maybe it was late last week, in a class. It was an absolute sucker of a workout, one of those where you're like you just feel so beat up and your lungs are burning, and one of those, right, just an absolute sucker. And I was like, team, like, I want you to attack it this way. And they're like, that sounds rough, coach. And I'm like, yeah, man, it is. And that's exactly why we're doing it, because you're going to learn how to deal with some anxiety and some stress, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is a controlled environment, as controlled as it can be, right? When you're obviously moving around. But this is a controlled environment. Plus, you got a set of eyes that is keeping you safe. And if things start getting a little weird, I'm gonna step in and be like, yo, calm down now. Right, that's enough. But I want you to freak yourself out, freak that body out physiologically. And then your mind has got to deal with that stress. Right. So then when we go outside and we go into the life, whatever happens, we're a little bit more prepared. Just a little bit.
Yep.
Maybe 1%. Maybe it's 90%. But we're a little bit more prepared, and hopefully we don't freak out. Hopefully we don't think about the permanent decision from a short-term problem, right? And we can kind of be a bit more resilient, a little bit harder to kill, a little bit more confident in our own ability.
I like it.
And people get it from different things, right? We chose the CrossFit thing. Some people get it from swimming, some people get it from Zumba, some people get it from run club, book club, whatever it is. Yep. Painting. You go find your thing. Obviously I'm a massive advocate of frigging CrossFit. I'm a massive advocate of doing your thing. Do whatever the hell you want to do. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Don't just think we're completely biased and blind to everything else, because we train other things too and like to. It's not just like, oh no, I'm not going to go play flag football at the weekend because I'm a CrossFitter. You're like, no, dude, go have fun, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Play new sports, right?
Play new sports. That's an OG right there.
Yeah. I still play. I mean, I've been playing softball, slow pitch, men's league softball for, I don't know, 25, 28 years or something. So I've been playing that. I still play basketball. I don't play football anymore because I would play some flag football if they had it around here, but they don't have anything like that here. So, but yeah, just you got to keep, you got to be outside of just CrossFit, right?
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
And I think we can't lose the beauty of play. I think we grow old because we stop playing, not we stop playing because we grow old.
100%.
And I think people like yourselves coaching and owning affiliates out there around the world, they're proving that stereotype to be incorrect, because you've got members coming in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, right? Doing shit that late 20-year-olds can't do, early 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds can't do. And you're like, what is going on?
Yeah, that's pretty cool too. I think our oldest member is 72, I think.
Wow, bro.
And our youngest member is 16. Well, youngest full CrossFit member is 16. We have a kids class too, but so that age range is wild, right? Like they're doing the same thing, the same workout, whether it's RX or scaled, it's you're getting the same benefit out of it. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, man, they're hitting the same intended stimulus in a different way, right?
Correct.
They might not be using the same apparatus. They might not be doing the same stuff, but like they're getting the same stuff. And that's the most important thing. Yep. I always think back, probably think about this once every couple of weeks. A gym years ago I was coaching at, where there was an athlete who had both bad shoulders and one bad knee. She was absolutely buggered, right? And I'm like, right, okay, how are we going to navigate this? All right, sweet. You're going to do X, Y, Z. You're going to implement this. You're going to scale that, right? I had like a 65-year-old lady in there. And then I also had a lad who was doing bar muscle-ups. And, for a lot of people, this is just a standard class. And a lot of the time it is. But I think it was the first class where I stood back and I just kind of witnessed the room as a whole, just seeing people do all this crazy epic shit. And then everybody just got a fist bump at the end, and the scores on the whiteboard. And you're just like, this is kind of cool. This.
Yeah.
Like people getting the same result from doing different things in the same community, in the same room, from the same people. And you're like, wow, yeah, this is cool. I can get on board with this.
It's so cool. when that kind of stuff happens. I love it when there's the 16-year-old and a 60-year-old in the same class. I just love sitting back, like you just said, sitting back and just looking at what's happening in the class and the how they're doing the same thing, but they're not. They're getting the same stimulus, like you said before too, and it's crazy that you can have that happen. There's not many things that you can, like, you can't go and play rugby against a 65-year-old. That's just, I mean, you could, but they're probably going to get hurt
Yeah.
unless they CrossFit, I guess. But
Yeah. Maybe
but
we're
yeah,
gonna get hurt.
it's a pretty cool thing to see that kind of stuff happen day in and day out.
Yeah, dude. Talk about social inclusion, you know?
Right?
Like
Yeah.
I kind of put it in the least poetic way possible quite often is I don't give a fuck who you are, just walk through the door and I'll help you.
Guaranteed.
And that's
Yep.
kind of it. And it's not just me, and I'm not just blowing me trumpet, it's all the other coaches and it's also the members too, right? Like
Right.
they
Right.
them just being around and throwing down. Like that
Yep.
60 something year old seeing the 16-year-old like coming in, throwing down, gets rid of the misconception of, oh, these kids are just either on their phones or on the street, right?
Right.
And then the 16-year-old, I don't know, maybe can learn some things from
Probably.
somebody in their 60s, probably a couple things, And you're just like, oh, okay, maybe there's some mistakes that I'm not going to make, because of this life lesson that they learned from this person themselves or whatever. And it's
Sure.
like, yeah, it's that age old thing of, I think the youth need to spend more time with people of their grandparents' age,
Yeah.
because you just
Yep.
learn from it. Yeah, okay, the times have changed and all that. Great, fantastic. Technology is a massive deal. Okay, cool. But learn life from
Right.
and having a space that is inclusive. The shutter door is always open. There's always going to be a smile on somebody's face in there. Yeah, okay,
Yep.
somebody's going to give you the middle finger because you've programmed Fran, right?
Right.
And you're like, yeah, I'm also going to give myself the middle finger when you jump into a class or you do it in an open gym time. You're like, oh
Yeah.
man, why did I do this? Well,
Yeah.
everybody's in that common struggle, and I think,
Yeah.
to make it an extreme example, when is morale one of the highest, right? Is in times of times of war. Why? Because there's a common struggle.
Right.
Everybody kind of gets around each other, that patriotism. And I mean, there's pros and cons to that, but it's an extreme example. But it's just like a little replica of we're all in this thing together, and we're all in this thing called life together, but we're also just going to like get in this pain cave for 60 minutes,
Right.
and then feel this sense of accomplishment internally that you can't really replicate, nor can you quite communicate it in the most perfect way, but everybody feels it and everybody's just kind of smiling. And then it's just this beautiful thing, man. I just get
Yeah.
fired up. I'm sorry, dude.
No doubt. For real. Yeah. We always say, if you can make it through the door, let us take care of the rest. Just get here. And also, you know, there's no way that you aren't going to benefit if you just show up. Just show up. That's it. Come for the workout, stay for the community. You're good.
Make it through the door. You can make it through the day, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like the benefit you get, like physically, yeah, great. And that is the kind of poster boy,
Sure.
slogan, you know, and you look good naked, which is always a bonus, right?
That's a plus. That's a plus.
It's a great plus. But at the same time, I can't drop this thing of the benefits people get upstairs, man.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the biggest thing. And
Oh, by far.
I think we need to shout that from the heavens a little bit more because, those of us who are still in that cloud or still feeling like they're drowning, um, a little bit too anxious to walk through that door, right? And you're like,
Right.
I'm going to guarantee you everybody in this room comes here for this upstairs. Yeah,
Yep.
okay, this is cool. You know, you gotta like, it's like the sports psychology of professional athletes. So why do they do what they do? A lot of them either have addictive personality, you know, they've got
Hmm.
childhood trauma, whatever. You want to dive into that, mega perfect. You know, it's like, so we've all got this upstairs and
Yeah.
we're all in
Yep.
this fight together, you know. So cool.
Yeah. It is. It's awesome.
Brother, I got 3 questions.
Hit me.
What's the greatest piece of life advice you've ever received?
Life advice. Ooh, let's see. Probably something my dad has said to me. Something like to the effect of uh just work hard.
Hmm,
And yeah, I mean, you work hard, things are gonna happen,
agreed.
you know, something like that.
Agreed. I think I think hard work is always the answer, no matter what the question is.
Yeah, agreed for
You
sure.
know, and even if you're in the wrong spot, in the wrong job, in the wrong place, in the wrong relationship, friendship, whatever, doing the wrong thing, fucking work hard at it. Usually it diverts you somewhere else and that takes you somewhere else. And then after 15 steps, you find where you're supposed to be.
Right, right.
If you're just half-assed it, someone might not have given you that opportunity, you know.
100%, definitely.
What's the worst piece of life advice you've ever received?
Mm, worst piece. Let's see. Probably something one of my old friends um probably has said to me, maybe something to the effect of just go for it. And there's, I mean, there's a different let's go for it and let's go for it, you know. Let's go for it in a good way, meaning that you have a plan intact, and you are going to do something step by step instead of just go for it and just wing it and see what the fuck happens,
Mm,
you know. So two different meanings to that. Just go for it. But that's probably some bad advice if
yeah.
I don't have a plan intact.
Interesting. All right, last question. What are the 3 words you'd tell your younger self?
Hmm. Don't do drugs.
Nice.
That would be something that I wish I could take back.
Right. We all make mistakes, man.
Right? Yeah. But what I did was I went for it with a plan, and I worked hard.
Yeah.
So full
Bingo.
circle.
Bingo. Mate, I love it.
Yeah.
Brother, thank you so much for your time. It's been an honor and a
Yeah.
privilege, man.
Yeah. Yeah. It was fun. It's good.
Always, always welcome to talk shop with me, son.
Yeah. Yeah. I checked out your Instagram. I was creeping on you a little bit, you know. Yeah. How long have you been doing CrossFit?
8 years, 9 years,
Okay.
maybe.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Cool, man. Cool. Yeah, yeah. If there's ever a time you want to shoot the shit again, let me know.
brother, you know where I am now, man. You are always, always welcome. And if I ever find myself out in the Midwest, I don't know, like nibbling on some corn or something, I'll make sure to hit you up. I've never been in North Dakota, so
Okay, cool.
one day I'm gonna have to. Now I got a
Yeah.
friend.
Yes, sir.
I got a friend and a place to do fitness. I mean, what more can you want?
There you go. There it is.
Perfect, man. Brother, thank you so much. We'll speak soon.
Absolutely. Sounds good, buddy.
My man. Peace,
All right.
peace and love to all the community at Soulfire, right?
Yes, sir.
Mega. Peace and
All
love,
right.
team, and
Same to you,
hopefully
man.
I'll drop in soon.
Okay, sounds good, buddy.
All right, man.
All right.
Bye, everybody.